Hello, and welcome back to Afford Law. We're going to be discussing divorce mediation in Massachusetts today. But before we get going, I just want to explain a little bit about Afford Law, what we do, and how we handle our cases. Afford Law, at Afford Law, we offer our services at a reduced rate. We understand that hiring an attorney can be a very expensive proposition. Our mission in life is to make ourselves as affordable as possible to as many people as possible. The folks that don't make any money or very little money are able to get court-appointed attorneys or use the services of legal aid. The folks that have plenty of money are able to go out and hire themselves an attorney on the open market at the going rate. Our concern is for the working man or woman who is confronted with a family law or criminal law matter in Massachusetts and has little or no options. So what we do is we charge our fees on a sliding scale. That means that we use your income as the basis for what we charge for our fees. So the less you make, the less we charge. So let's get on and tackle our topic of divorce mediation in Massachusetts. What is divorce mediation? Well, divorce mediation is an option. It's an alternative to the litigation track. Litigation being you file it's the traditional way of going about a divorce. You file a complaint, you serve it on your spouse, your partner, soon to be ex-spouse. They have to answer. It goes before a judge. There's discovery with all kinds of issues that are involved in that. It's very complicated, and mediation is a way around that. Mediation is an alternative. So what happens is a divorce mediator, who is a third party, a neutral third party, that person is oftentimes, almost always, an attorney, and that person works with you and your partner to try to come together and bring the two of you together into an agreement on all of the issues that you're facing in your divorce. So basically what happens is the divorce mediator meets with you one-on-one, meets with your partner one-on-one, meets with you together, all at different times. That person is trying to get information about you, your partner, your marriage, what caused the breakup of the marriage, and the issues. Of course, they'll want to know if there are any children involved. Do you own a house together? What are the assets? What are the debts of the marriage, and so forth? There are a lot of issues that need to be addressed. If you're on amicable terms with your partner, then divorce mediation may very well be something that you'd want to look into. It's, as I say, it's an informal setting. There's no record that's kept. That you're meeting with the other person either together or meeting with the mediator separately, so you can address your issues and your partner can address issues that they have as well with the mediator. And what happens is the mediator is, again, trying to find common ground between the two of you. They need to address all of the issues that are involved in a divorce. Probably the most important advantage to a mediation is it gives you a great deal more control over the outcome of the divorce situation. So in a litigation type situation, you're asking for one thing. Typically, your spouse is asking for something else. There's a fight between the two of you. The adversarial system is in place, and you're going head to head trying to come out with an answer, and ultimately a judge decides the outcome of the issues and of that case. In a mediation, a mediator is trying to help facilitate agreement between the two parties, so that if you can come to an agreement, that it's a lot easier. Also, because of that, the mediator doesn't act as a judge. So the mediator cannot force you to accept anything. The mediator can suggest things, can possibly give you some advice about what your alternatives are, but the mediator doesn't come down with a ruling or a judgment to say this is the way it's going to be. That's the big advantage of mediation, is that you have control. So if the agreement that's being presented to you ultimately is not acceptable to you, you don't have to take it. You don't have to sign off on that. There's nothing that's requiring you to go forward with that particular outcome. What would happen is at that point you would just simply take it to the litigation track. So one big advantage again is that you have control over the outcome. Another big advantage is cost. the cost of the mediator is shared between both parties. So whatever the mediator's fee is, they typically charge an hourly fee. Whatever that hourly fee is, you only have to pay one half of that. Your partner pays the other half of that. So it can be more cost effective for you in that situation. Another advantage is time. Oftentimes a mediation will take much less time than the litigation process. Litigation can go on for months and possibly even over a year, depending on how contentious the divorce is. So a mediator, by meeting with both parties together and separately, can oftentimes come to a mediation agreement within a handful, 5 to 7 maybe meetings between everybody. That's not always the case, and it doesn't always work either, but it can be a much quicker way of going about it. You still have to hit all of the issues in the divorce, so that's something to keep in mind. But again, litigation can take a long time, and it can be very expensive. So those are really the top 3, I would say, advantages. Another advantage is it can, because you're not going head-to-head in an adversarial setting, it can foster, it can encourage your future relationship with your spouse, with your partner. It's not as mediation does not cause as many hard feelings as litigation does. But don't make any mistake. Divorce is not easy, and emotions run high, and it's an unpleasant situation. Mediation can relieve some of that pressure by not making you present your side as a foe of your opponent. And mediation can be easier on your children, if you have any, because you're coming to agreements with your partner, and hopefully both people have the children's best interest at heart. So those are the big advantages, I would say, to mediation. I touched briefly on the process before. The mediator meets with each person individually and together, and you hammer out an agreement. If an agreement is possible, a mediation agreement, it's a document, will be produced. That will lay out all the rights and obligations of each of the parties that have come to the agreement, and that you're signing off on that. So if you are successful in mediation, ultimately, it will provide a mediation agreement. If mediation goes sour and you're not able to complete that, the mediator cannot be called as a witness for either party. So anything that you say to them won't be brought back up during litigation. Excuse me. And the mediation agreement, if you are able to come up with a mediation agreement, it still has to go before a judge. But the main advantage is all your issues have been ironed out and have been agreed upon by each party. So when you file your paperwork with the court, then you have the majority of your work has been done already. So it still has to go before a judge. So it has to get filed with the court. You'll get a date to go to court before the judge, and the judge will review the mediation agreement and may have questions for either or both of you and your partner, at that time when they're reviewing and possibly accepting the mediation agreement. The judge is basically looking to make sure that the mediation agreement seems fair, that one person wasn't able to take advantage of the other person during the mediation process. So if one person's, say, a bully, the judge wants to be on the lookout for that and is trying to protect the rights of both parties. And one of the most important things, of course, is if there are children involved, that the mediation agreement that you're proposing is in the children's best interest. That is the guiding light for everything in the family courts involving children. It must be in the children's best interest. So those are some ideas. Again, mediation doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes you'll be able to get agreement on some issues, but not others. If you don't have a full agreement on all the issues, then you'll have to go with the litigation route. However, if you try mediation, and let's say you get a handful of issues that you can agree upon, at least you have those set aside. You don't have to worry about litigating those the particular issues, and you can only focus on the issues that are more contentious between the two of you. So even then, mediation may give you a step forward and may even save you a little bit of money. So divorce mediation in Massachusetts, it's a very good alternative for some people. Again, it's not for everybody. Highly conflicted couples, probably it's not going to work. But again, the only thing that you have, the only downside really is you do have to pay for it, although it's a little bit, it's a little less expensive, as I said. You have to pay for that, and you have to put in some time and effort. It's worth looking at if you think you're in a situation where that might be helpful for you. So those are my thoughts on divorce mediation today. I want to thank you for joining me. And again, at Afford Law, we provide family law and criminal law representation throughout Massachusetts, typically at a reduced rate. Again, our fees are based on your income, based on a sliding scale. So the less you make, the less we charge. We want to make ourselves as affordable as possible for the working man and woman, because the issues involved in criminal law and family law are so important to you and to others, to your family, to your children. You should not have to go through this alone. You really should have a trained attorney to look at your case, to guide you through the process. It's just too important not to have that information. So that's again, those are my thoughts for today. I have other thoughts for today too, but not on this particular topic. So thank you for joining me. Please tune in as we go through this. We'll be here every Saturday at noon for our Ask a Lawyer live stream. Well, again, I want to thank you for that. Give us, if you have any questions, please feel free to visit us at affordlaw.org. It's not com, but affordlaw.org. We have a lot of resources there for you, a lot of information. I think it could be very helpful in many situations. At Afford Law, we're making justice affordable. Thank you.